And what's up, everybody? I'm back with another video game review. Today, I'm reviewing, as I adjust the mic accordingly, Little Big Planet 3. Yes! This is obviously the third entry in the Little Big Planet series, and it now means that I have beaten every Little Big Planet game, or played every Little Big Planet game, to the best of my abilities. It's pretty good. So, of course, there's a fourth game, Sackboy: A Big Adventure. If you want to see my review of that game, you can go check that out in the game reviews playlist, as well as the first two games. Little Big Planet 3 came out on the PS4 in 2014, so a little bit earlier entry. And, a lot of people don't really talk about this game a whole lot. I guess they don't talk about the second one much either. But I got a lot of thoughts in this game. Let's just jump right into it. And if there's something that I maybe don't touch on a whole lot, that you want to see more of me with the game, I live streamed my entire experience with this game, so you can go check those out as well. I thought, so first thing I'll say, I think I really did like that they kept a lot of the elements from the past two, such as the controller thing. I think this is really cool that they updated it to be a PS4 controller, to be with the PS4. I think that's really great. Though they got rid of a lot of other things that I didn't think necessarily needed to be changed, such as the way that the level structure goes. I guess more level, like, progression, maybe. It's a lot more fast-paced. This is a shorter game than the first two. And I think a big reason is that the level progression. In the first two games, what you did, you started in the pod, and then you selected the level, you go into the level, you play the level, then you go back to the pod and you're done to select another level. Here, in Little Big Planet 3, you start out in the pod, you select your level, you go in, and unless you have to, exit the game and stop playing the game for some reason, or whatever, you don't go back to the pod. You just, except in between worlds. Now instead of, there's always been these, worlds in the game, but now you just go to the pod for a short time in between worlds, but it'll take you automatically back in. You don't have to do anything. And to me, being in the pod was a really cool thing in the first couple of games, and when you're in the pod in this game, it's really cool too. But because they do a lot of other cool, developing to make it nicer, but you're rarely there, so it doesn't really feel like they really cared. And it really sucks. It really does suck. But that's a small complaint. I will say I had no idea until after this game that House, Hugh Laurie, voiced the main enemy. Had zero idea. That's awesome, though. That is awesome. How about some gameplay mechanics? The climbing thing. You do a lot of climbing. You go up and down these grates, and then you climb that way. I don't know. They were okay. They're a cool idea, not very well executed, because they change what objects you can climb on, which is not very well defined. During the tutorial, there's a specific type of climbing thing, and you see that throughout the game, but there's other times you can climb on stuff, but you doesn't really know you can until you try it. So that kind of sucks. But also, just didn't feel very well executed. The level complete screen also changed. It didn't need to change. Now it doesn't really, you don't really get this same sort of satisfaction when completing a level, in my opinion. In the first couple of games, you go, you do the whole level, and then you get to a little nice section where you can just walk up, nothing obstructs you, and there's a little platform, and you're done. And they get to read you through all the items you got, and achievements you might have got, and progression, that kind of thing. There's confetti, woo, all that kind of stuff. But not in this game. Not in this game. They throw it all at you at once. There's no platform to stand on. You're falling through the sky most of the time, and it doesn't really have that same level of satisfaction, which really sucks. Because, I mean, you like to be satisfied when completing a level. Because these levels are really, I would say, a lot of the levels are on similar, if not the same levels of creativity and, difficulty or complexity as in the first two. So you want to have the same satisfaction when completing them, but you don't really get that in this game. The weapon wheel was also extremely unnecessary. It's not even really a weapon wheel. It's more of a gadget wheel to use your different gadgets. I liked how they did it in 2, where there was a space to pick up the object that you needed, and it was always with you until you didn't need it anymore. Then it was gone. Then you went to the next thing. I get here that they want you to use more than one gadget in the levels, but you could have still structured it that way. And if you're coming straight from 2 to 3, you get really confused because, like, you think you're supposed to just pick it up and you don't know what to do. And, like, oh, you gotta go to the weapon wheel, select it. Then you get to go do the thing. And it disappears at random times, too. Like, if you switched areas or whatever, it doesn't stick with you and you gotta select it again, even if you didn't deselect it already, which that's really annoying because they didn't do that in the first game. They're just like, why? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's my thoughts about that. I will also give credit. I will give credit though. The new characters are really cool. They're fun to play as. We always been playing as just Sackboy. But getting to play as new characters in this game I thought was really cool. The dog, in my opinion, looks like a frog. You can see it on stream. I was like, oh, this is a frog. And then they were talking about how it was like a dog. Like, oh, it's supposed to be a dog? I didn't know that. But I think the characters have their own... They're not super different from Sackboy, but they do have their own special abilities. And I think they get just enough screen time. Because you play some levels with them, some as Sackboy in their respective sections, and then they all help out at the very end of the game. But, I still think it's fine. Like, and they're okay. I mean, they don't do anything crazy. They could have done away without them, but I think they're a cool addition. I also want to talk about my last complaint with this game, which is the final boss, and I think it is a very long and very underwhelming boss fight. The sections that you have to do to get to the end of the final boss fight is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, and you don't really get. And like with the level progression, you don't really get the same level of satisfaction when beating the boss as you would think based off of the build-up. I debated putting this boss fight on the hardest video game levels list. I didn't. It's not going to be on there. And it just did not. I don't know. I just didn't want to give it that level of satisfaction, really, honestly. It was long, it was underwhelming, it was really fucking annoying, and, yeah, kind of left a sour taste in my mouth after this game. But that does not mean that I can't appreciate a lot of the good aspects of this game. It's still a Little Big Planet game. And now having played all 4 Little Big Planet games, I think they're all really good games. The creativity is off the charts. There's so much that you can do in all these games. Sackboy's a great character. And, had PlayStation maybe stuck with Sackboy a little bit more through the PS4, maybe he could have became their official mascot. It wasn't really meant to be, but and it really does suck. I mean, the servers for this Little Big Planet 3 were just recently shut down, which is very, very sad, because it kind of ushers out an era of gaming, kind of, in a way. But now, having played all 4 of the games, what would be my rankings? I would... The first game is definitely my favorite by far. The second goes to 2. I put 4, and then I go 1, 2, 4, 3. That's my rankings. But all of them are really good games. It's a very tight. Well, number 1's without a doubt the first game, but 2, 3, and 4, those spots are you can interchange them, and I really wouldn't care, because they are, they are what they are. So. Well, guys, my final score as well for this game, I give it a 7. It's still really fun, just a little underwhelming in places, and they changed up a lot of stuff they didn't necessarily need to. So, but that's gonna do it though for this review. So if you have played Little Big Planet 3, I'd love to know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. And that's gonna do it for this video as well. So stay tuned for much more amazing content, including more game reviews and other awesome stuff. And until next time, see you guys later. Goodbye.